The Indiana Fever's decision to part ways with head coach CHRISTIE Sides was a significant move, not just for the team, but for the broader WNBA landscape. As organizations often find, change is hard but sometimes necessary, especially when a franchise faces stagnation or frustration. The Fever were searching for something to jolt their trajectory, a breath of fresh air, someone who could ignite the talent simmering beneath their disappointing record. That change came in a somewhat abrupt, yet not entirely surprising, dismissal of Sides, a coach who had come in with high hopes, but left the team needing more than what she had to offer. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. CHRISTIE Sides came into the Indiana Fever's locker room like a sergeant determined to bring order to chaos. She was known for her no-nonsense attitude and tough-love coaching style, qualities that can work wonders when a team is buying into the system. With the Fever, they were like trying to herd cats, and Sides' attempts to wrangle this young squad into a fighting unit didn't quite hit the mark. The Fever's record in her tenure spoke louder than her pre-game speeches. And while it's easy to pin the failures on a coach, Sides was also dealing with a fairly green roster and the expectations of a fan base desperate for a spark. In the midst of this shakeup, whispers started gaining traction. Could Caitlin Clark be eyeing the Indiana Fever as her future landing spot? If that's the case, a coaching change could serve as a tempting lure. Caitlin Clark's star power has the gravitational pull of a black hole in the women's basketball universe, and anyone remotely in touch with the sport knows it. The rumor mill never sleeps, and this latest shift in the coaching ranks only fueled the fire. But then came the plot twist. Stephanie White, the seasoned coach with a history of success, has emerged as the potential new head coach for the Fever. And this development may be the exact kind of bait to reel in someone of Clark's caliber. Stephanie White isn't a stranger to the Fever. In fact, her fingerprints are still faintly visible on the organization from her previous stint as a coach, one that ended just before the team started its downward spiral. White was the steady-handed leader who once guided the Fever to the WNBA Finals, and her return would be like bringing back a captain to steer a ship that's been drifting off course for far too long. White's coaching philosophy emphasizes disciplined play and accountability, traits she's proven she can instill in her teams. More importantly, White knows how to maximize the talents of dynamic guards, which is why her potential return could be pivotal for someone like Caitlin Clark. To understand the implications of these changes, let's break down what the potential arrival of White could mean for the Fever and the possible ripple effects across the WNBA. First, there's the obvious appeal for Clark, who's been lighting up college basketball at Iowa. Stephanie White's reputation as a player-focused coach with a clear, adaptable system could be the carrot that lures the future WNBA star to Indiana. Coaches often have a sort of magnetic quality, and if the Fever are planning to woo Caitlin Clark, they'd pick the right magnet in Stephanie White. Clark has proven that she can thrive in systems that give her the freedom to operate, and that's where White excels. Her return could not only stabilize a shaky franchise but also set the stage for something much bigger. However, while Clark's name being linked to the Fever isn't carved in stone, it's still not just idle speculation. The WNBA is a growing league with stars being carefully plotted into its narrative by every front office in the league. For the Fever, nabbing Caitlin Clark would be like stumbling upon a winning lottery ticket. This is where timing becomes everything, and firing Sides while bringing in White could be the Indiana Fever's way of sprucing up their pitch. Imagine setting up a newly renovated coaching staff right before the WNBA draft. Talk about making a strong first impression. But there's more to it than just the name game. Stephanie White's potential return goes beyond recruiting. It's about establishing a culture that's been lacking since her departure. The Fever haven't exactly been a beacon of consistency in recent years. They've been more like a sputtering engine, starting and stopping, never quite finding the right gear. White's previous stint saw a team with a distinct identity, gritty, tough, and disciplined. That's the kind of character this current roster desperately needs. If you're a young player trying to find your feet in the league, having a coach who can cut through the chaos and provide clarity is invaluable. White has proven she can do just that. The WNBA has been witnessing a steady growth, both in viewership and talent. And with this growth comes an evolving landscape, where the right coaching hire could mean the difference between remaining a footnote or becoming a headline. The Fever firing Sides wasn't just about wins and losses, but about repositioning the team to be more competitive, more marketable, and more equipped for the league's evolving challenges. Stephanie White's track record suggests she's the coach who can orchestrate such a transformation. Her experience working with veteran stars, developing young talent, and managing locker room dynamics could make her the right fit at the right time for this franchise. But let's not forget the awkwardness of this whole situation. CHRISTIE Sides was brought in with hopes that she could be the one to rebuild the Fever from the ground up. Unfortunately, she was more like an overworked contractor with faulty tools, trying to assemble a house while the walls were still white with paint. The frustration was evident, not just in the record, but in the body language of her players on the sidelines. There were moments when Sides looked more like a harried babysitter than a coach, trying to keep a lid on things as the chaos unfolded around her. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's entrance into the WNBA is becoming one of the most anticipated events in recent memory. Her performances at Iowa have turned her into a household name, a walking highlight reel with a knack for thrilling finishes. Whoever lands Clark will instantly inject a shot of adrenaline into their franchise. The Fever know this, and it's likely a factor in their coaching decisions. Coaches like Stephanie White are rare finds. She's someone who understands the X and O's, but more importantly, she knows how to harness the potential of a star player without letting them burn out or fade into the background. Clark's decision, of course, is still shrouded in mystery. She's got the whole world at her feet, and she'll choose a team that aligns with her ambitions. That's where White's experience might give Indiana the edge. Stephanie White has always had a knack for empowering players, giving them room to be themselves on the court while maintaining a cohesive team structure. If the Fever can promise Clark a coach who will let her shine without losing control of the locker room, they might just become the frontrunners in this unofficial race. The Fever's fans, who've been patiently waiting for the team to get back on track, have greeted these changes with cautious optimism. They've seen coaches come and go, each promising a brighter future, and each failing to deliver. But there's something about White's possible return that feels different. Maybe it's because she's been here before, knows the pitfalls, and has the benefit of hindsight. Or maybe it's because, after so many false starts, the franchise is finally ready to stop chasing its tail and start building towards something concrete. There's also the question of how the rest of the league will react to these changes. The WNBA is full of teams that have successfully rebranded and reinvented themselves through coaching hires and bold draft decisions. The Fever's move could spark a new wave of chess moves across the league as franchises look to bolster their coaching ranks and secure young stars. Caitlin Clark's potential move to the WNBA already has analysts speculating about her impact on various teams, and the Fever are clearly making a play to be at the center of this buzz. And what about CHRISTIE Sides? The former coach may not have had the success she envisioned, but she's sure to resurface somewhere in the league or in college basketball. The WNBA coaching carousel never really stops spinning, and Sides could very well find herself back in the mix, perhaps with a different team or a fresh perspective on what went wrong in Indiana. Her departure from the Fever wasn't necessarily a sign of her coaching ability, but a realization that this was just the wrong fit at the wrong time. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.